Blessings, blessings, blessings. Happy Saturday, friends. So I wanted to come through and talk about fear versus love. So yesterday in one of my videos, I mentioned how like you can tell when you're operating from fear, you can tell when you're operating by love, right? And so we live in a world of dualities, right? And on earth, we experience duality, right? There's good, bad, fear versus love, all these other dualities, right? Black, white, they're not there, light, dark, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of dualities in our experience, and one of those dualities is the fear versus love. Now love is our natural state, right? Our natural state of being. However, fear shows up as like this protective mechanism built into our experience. And so I was like, one of the things I've been practicing for the last couple of months, or maybe it's been a year by now, is like paying attention in my conversations to how I feel, and allowing my emotions to guide me to whether or not I'm operating from fear or if I'm operating from love. Again, fear is a protective mechanism. So while I was in meditation this morning, I asked my higher self, I was like, how can I explain to someone the difference between fear and love, right? And I've thought about my own experiences as well, how I can tell what it feels like, the pressure and the rush of this need to talk when I'm operating in fear. And so I want to share with you all like some of the things that I wrote down, and also like something else I like put together, just to like run us through it. So fear is a defensiveness. It's like you're fighting for something. You want to win, right? There's this need to feel correct or be accepted. There's this pushing, this is aggressiveness, there's this tension, there's this like this pressure there's this build. I want to feel like it's like an amplified feeling, like there's this build, right? And so when I think about when higher self will explain to me love, it's like love feels more objective, right? There's this neutralness to it. It doesn't care one way or another. Like it has no attachment. It's not trying to win anything. It don't really care, right? It just is. It puts it out there. It has no fight in the game. There is a softness to it, a flow. It's not fighting or pushing against. There's no, like I said, there's no attachment to it, to the outcome, or need to control others, or it comes off as simply an offering, right? And one of the contexts I often think about where fear and love tends to operate, and I feel like it's the easiest way to see it, is when people are engaging in what many would call, I'm giving you feedback, I'm giving you critique, right? And I always think those are like, for me, the easiest ones to be able to notice where the energy is coming from. Because this is the thing, right? Like we think that love has to look like, oh, I can't speak up for myself, oh, I can't advocate for myself, if not that I'm mean. And it's like, so like it doesn't matter how other people perceive it. The reality of it is like it's really important about the energy you have behind what you're doing and what you're saying. And if you are coming from a place of trying to control someone because you are uncomfortable, then that is a fear, right? Like that is fear-based. That is not love. Love is soft, is gentle, it's giving or sharing from a place of offering. Like whether or not it has no attachment to it, whether or not you take the advice, whether or not you accept or see the point of view, love isn't checking for that, you know? That's more fear-based. So let's see, let's go through this. So let's talk about the core differences between love and fear, right? So with fear, right, the energy fear feels constricted, it's heavy, it's tense, it often has a pushing or controlling force behind it. There's a sense of lack or separation driving it, right? Like again, fear is a defense mechanism. That's where it stems from. And so when it comes to that energy, it's like something needs to be fixed, or like you're trying to protect yourself. And protecting yourself can be protecting your identity, protecting your beliefs, protecting your perspective. Like it can come from any of those, right? So the voice of fear's voice is loud, it's urgent, and emotionally charged, okay? There's a pressure behind this. It's reactive. It's wanting immediate resolution to ease the discomfort. You can feel it within your body. I'm telling you, like it's strong. You can't miss it. The intent is usually about self-preservation, needing validation, or external control of people, situations, or outcomes, right? So fear operates from the scarcity. There's not enough love, safety, or power, so I have to fight for it, right? And so I feel like the fear is oft, I'm telling you, pay attention to your interactions. Pay attention to when people are correcting you. Pay attention to when you are attempting to correct others. You will be able to see or feel into the energy and know like where that energy is coming from. Now, love, on the other hand, love energy, hold on. Okay. Now, love energy is expansive, it's calm, it's steady, right? There's more of a gentleness to this energy. It feels natural or like soft. It's almost effortless because it doesn't resist or force. It comes from a state of wholeness and connection. I'm telling, like, even when I'm thinking about it, it's very like whatever. It's very la 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 la. Okay, it's like you say this thing like, oh, there's a fire right there, and no one does nothing. You're like, okay, like it's not trying to force anything. It's just like, okay, I'm just putting it out there. Do what you want with the information kind of energy. The behavior of love gives without strings, okay? It allows others and the self to exist as they are, with no need to control. It's open and receptive, offering grace and compassion instead of judgment. The voice of love's voice is quiet, right? It's steady and it's neutral. It doesn't demand, it simply invites. It often feels like clarity, truth, or knowing, with no attachment to being right. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. It just has no fight in the game. That's literally what my higher self was saying. It was like, it just has no fight in the game. And I'm like, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like, I can, one way or another. It is what it is. I already said it, right? So the intent, love is in service. It doesn't seek to take, but to offer. Its actions are grounded in abundance. There's enough, and I am enough, regardless of the outcome. All is well kind of energy. So like when it comes to correcting others, this is how I often see fear. Like, you need to see it my way because you're wrong and I'm uncomfortable, right? Like, this often comes with frustration, tension, or a need to dominate the conversation. It's very the energy is very forceful. It's like they're trying to get you to construct to like what they believe it should be like. Where love, on the other hand, is like, hey, you know what? Like, I want to share my perspective because I feel it could serve or inspire you. But I'm unattached to whether or not you agree. I have no fight in this game, right? There's a softness here, right? There's no need to fix the other person. It just is what it is. Giving feedback would be very similar, right? When we're speaking about fear, we're talking about critiquing to feel superior or validated, or projecting discomfort onto someone else. The intention is self-serving rather than constructive. Where love is offering feedback with care, aiming to uplift or support someone's growth. It's not about the giver, but about being of service to the receiver's journey. And when we talk about like judging others, right? When we talk about fear, the person's behavior makes me uncomfortable, so I'll shame or ridicule them to feel better about myself. This projects unresolved inner conflict outward. And what's so interesting about this is like, I've been talking more about this on YouTube, where I'm just like, all this idea of we need to bring shame back is really just showing everyone's discomfort. It's really just showing their own like thoughts of themselves, their own inner world, their own unresolved inner conflict, right? They're just projecting it outward. Because love, when it comes to like judging others, love understands that their choices are their own, right? Like, and they're valid in their experience. I don't need to understand or approve to allow them to exist as they are. Love doesn't take things personally or feel the need to control. And so like, those are the kind of things like I just wanted to share, because hopefully this resonates with someone and you can take this with you. I wanted to create a little bit more structure. That's why I like did that the second part, because like I know for me, like I just have this knowing, right? But like when you want to share it with others, it makes more sense to provide structure for it. And so hopefully this resonates with those who need it at this time in their journey, just for you to understand when you are coming from a defensive place, or your protective mechanisms is showing up, as opposed to when you're just in your natural flow, in your natural state of love. All right. So you can ask yourself questions like, am I trying to control or force something right now? Am I giving from a place of abundance, or am I seeking something in return? Does this feel soft, open, and flowing, or tense and resistant? So I love y'all. Have your best day on purpose, and I'll be back, I'm sure.